Hi folks, hope you're doing well. Blake here and I'm back with another weekly upload. Now we've had some really good news recently in the UK which looks like hopefully the COVID lockdown will be coming to an end fairly soon and there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And so with that a lot of things are opening back up, including live music. As you might know, especially if you're into music or you're into playing or being in the audience, there's not really been much live music throughout lockdown. I did go to one gig when I was in a tier 2 lockdown, you can check that out here, and I really enjoyed it, but generally speaking, with social distancing and all the rules in place, there's not really been a great safe way of doing it. Now I know I'm super excited about getting out and playing again, which is going to hopefully happen soon, and I'm sure lots of other musicians are too. And if you're someone that's been learning an instrument over lockdown, maybe you've watched a few of my guitar lessons, maybe you've been learning guitar or learning a different instrument, or you've been starting to sing and take on a hobby, then you might have some interest in starting to play out live and play to people in open mic nights. With that in mind, I thought I'd make another vlog today, and I'm going to focus on helping beginners play their first ever open mic night. So here are some tips and tricks that I've picked up from playing loads and loads of open mics. So I've broken these down into 4 main things, and we're going to start with doing your research. So you've got to make sure you do your research for the open mic night you're going to play. There's lots of different open mics basically. If you play in a city, it's likely that it'll be really busy, both in terms of the audience that come and also in terms of how many musicians turn up. Obviously if lots of musicians turn up, you'll get less time on stage. Also probably in a busier place, the talent will be much higher just from a general standpoint because there'll be so many people doing music and wanting to get out there. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but obviously if you're doing your first ever open mic night, you might want to consider it. The other things that can differ in open mic nights include the times. So in cities, typically they go on really late and until sort of the early hours of the morning, even in the weekdays, which might be an issue. Whereas they're a little bit earlier than that in kind of surrounding towns. And then there's other things, so there's like open mic nights where you have backing bands, open mic nights where you can only play certain types of music, so you can only play originals or you can only play folk music, for instance. So there's a lot of things to consider. Make sure you do a little bit of internet research and see open mic nights in my area first to look up. And if you feel confident initially to go and play one, definitely get in touch with some of the promoters or the people who host it. They always want musicians to turn up, that's kind of what they're after. So get in touch with them on social media. It's usually very easy to find out their details from pages with open mic nights on, or most often Facebook. Now after saying that, you might think, well, I don't feel confident enough yet to just go out to an open mic and play it, and that's why I'm watching this video. That's fine, there's other things you can do as well. So one top tip I'd have is go and scope out the open mic night first. Go as an audience member, even if you want to go with a friend. Listen to the people that play, talk to some of the musos in the crowd. It's very common that the people that go one week will come again the next. And so if you start to make some friends in the audience, that can make you feel really supported when you get up and play. And once you've kind of scoped it out and seen what it's like, what the atmosphere is like, you can then go back and you can go and play the event. Ultimately, when you consider how good the level of talent is just from what would make you feel comfortable, when you consider the people in the audience, how busy it is and what the kind of environment's like, when you consider the type of music that's being played and the time and the day it's on, think about those things and make sure you choose the right open mic night to give you a first really great experience. Okay, next up we've got your rituals of support. So let's say you've agreed, okay, I'm going to play this open mic night, it's on Saturday, it's at 9 o'clock, I've spoken to the promoter, or I'm going to sign up when I get there, and I'm going to play a few songs. But you're still feeling really nervous in the build-up, so what sort of things can you do? First of all, if you have someone close to you that you trust, either take them along with you, which is preferable because you know you'll have someone in the audience who'll cheer for you and give you support regardless of how well it goes. But also, if you're feeling really nervous, do a little private concert, just play for your friend or play for your family on your own. It'll make you feel much more comfortable, and they're a kind of a good sounding board. You know, if you play a song and you're not used to performing live and it really doesn't suit your voice, or it's really a bit too difficult for you in terms of like the instrumental parts, you know, you'll get that feedback from someone who cares about you and supports you, and you won't have the fear of slipping up like that in a public forum like an open mic gig. So definitely do things like that. The other thing is when you turn up for the gig, some people, if you're of age and you do drink, some people have a drink to calm the nerves and get the Dutch courage, as they say. While that's a good idea in a way, You've got to be careful. If you have a few drinks, it can massively affect your manual dexterity, so suddenly you can't play guitar or similar instruments after a few beers or so. So bear that in mind. You know, you can have a drink to help you relax a little bit, but maybe don't overdo it. So this bit's called With the Right List, you are set for your gig, and it's basically what you have to do with your set list. Generally speaking, it does depend on the open mic, but you'll probably get to play about 3 or 4 songs. Usually they're quite popular, a lot of people turn up, and you might get 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so. Maybe have a few in reserve, because then you can have the benefit of choosing which songs you'd like to play. But there's a few other things to consider. First of all, pick songs you want to play that you feel comfortable playing. It doesn't really matter what you play at an open mic. You can play crowd pleasers, but it's really you need to be comfortable playing them. And don't go for automatically the hardest pieces you can play. You're going to be far more comfortable playing at home on your own than when you're to a live audience. And that means you're more likely to make mistakes in a live setting. So if you choose a piece of music which is really difficult or you've not completely mastered, you might kind of see some of those mistakes in a live setting. So choose a few songs, maybe 5 or 6 that you're completely comfortable with, you've played a lot of times, you know how to sing them, they're in your range and that sort of thing. That's usually a good place to start. And this applies to other things as well. Say you wanted to bring in an extra instrument like a harmonica, or you wanted to bring in a loop pedal, or you wanted to bring in, you know, difficult harmonies in your music. You've got to build those things up over time. And the final point is just to enjoy it. So with an open mic, you know, you get so much out of playing it. It's such a buzz, especially I remember playing my first ones, and there's such a great feeling of like you've played in front of people, they've responded, they've applauded you. It's such a big kind of pick-me-up for a musician, whether, you know, completely amateur or completely professional, the response of others. And just try not to analyse it too much. Like I said earlier, you'll turn up to some open mics and some of the musicians that come and play might be professionals. They might do it every weekend, they might play 4 or 5 gigs a weekend, you know, travelling far and wide, playing lots of different covers, playing the original songs. And especially if you're just starting out, it's really a dangerous mindset to compare yourself to others, because not only are they going to be playing different music to you, but they'll have a whole different story to you. They might have been playing for much longer, they might have lots more confidence because they've been in lots of performing situations. Ultimately, you've just got to try and enjoy your kind of time playing it, and don't really buy into the whole, there isn't really a competition, but you can buy into this competition of, you know, how does my performance compare to everybody else's performance, and I've got to be as good or better than everyone else. The truth is, like, not only does that not matter, but it's completely subjective. You just got to do the best for you, and if you enjoy your time up there, everybody else will feel that and they'll support you. So that's the best thing I could say about that. After the gigs as well, try not to overanalyze it. You know, people might take videos, especially if it's a busy gig. That's great if you want to share your videos of you performing and watch them back, but try not to be too critical on yourself. You know, you're going out there, putting yourself out there, performing in front of people, and that's quite a big step, and you've done really well. So even if your performance isn't 100%, which often it isn't, that's absolutely fine. So thanks for watching this vlog video. They are my 4 tips and tricks for seeking out and playing your first open mic night. It's such a massive buzz to play your first gigs, especially playing in front of people for the first time, and it gives you a really great feeling if that's something you want to do. And I'd really say good luck with it, and make sure to get out there and play. Please like and share the video if you think it would be useful for anyone learning music or anyone that you know that's interested in live events. And please, if you're new here as well, click the little subscribe and notification bell buttons, then you'll get all future videos I release, which is every week. That includes vlogs, but also things like covers and original songs, guitar lessons, and things like gag reels as well. So I make lots of different content. Thanks very much, take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Tea for 2, sat by the lake, a lot about